by a hormone, a growth factor, or any sort of molecule
can
actually be conveyed to the brain via the fluid.
I fucking love that.
We published an article in the journal Neuron.
Hold on.
And we were given the cover image for
on this mantina
seemingly floating here in space was. So I asked my colleague, and he said that's the choroid plexus, which makes cerebrospinal fluid.
He's like, duh.
Instantly, I knew that if the cerebrospinal fluid was made by such a large structure that was almost as large as the developing brain, that it must be an important fluid and have an important role in development. Our entire central nervous system is bathed in cerebrospinal fluid. If you look at a section of an embryonic rat or rodent,
whoa, with the rat talk.
All the early neural embryologic stem cells, the cells that develop and become our entire central nervous system, are actually contacting the CSF. They contact the CSF with a tiny cilia right here, which is an antenna. It's constantly monitoring the fluid and receiving information from the fluid in terms of developmental cues, growth factors, etc.
Shut your mouth.
When we look at an adult brain section, the stem cells here labeled in B are also making contact with the cerebrospinal fluid. Yeah. They're constantly monitoring the fluid, trying to determine what the fluid is trying to tell them. From our research and other people's research, we can say that the cerebrospinal fluid provides essential survival and growth factors to the embryonic and adult brain, as well as provides a fluid niche for neural stem cells for survival, proliferation, and differentiation.
Niche.
So from a biological, purely molecular perspective, the information in the cerebrospinal fluid, whether that information is being conveyed via a protein, a hormone, a growth factor, or any sort of molecule, can actually be conveyed to the brain via the fluid.
Get out of my life.
We published an article in the journal Neuron, and we were given the cover image for that journal. And this is our image of how we pictorially depicted the cerebrospinal fluid. What you see here is a continuum from the embryo to the adult. The changing color can represent the changing proteins and growth factors from development to adult. But the blue essence, the light of the CSF, this represents a continuum of energy within the fluid that is ever present regardless of age. It would have been great to include this fluid coming in from source and then exiting to source, but we published it in Neuron. Didn't have that choice. So the majority of the roles of the CSF that we know about today are that it transports nutrients and hormones to the central nervous system, it regulates circadian rhythms, it regulates appetite, it provides guiding cues for cell migration, it instructs stem cells to proliferate or differentiate, creates an ionic balance, as well as eliminate waste, supports and protects the central nervous system, and creates a buoyancy and shock absorber for the brain. What else could it do? During my PhD, I read the book, The Tibetan Book of Living and Dying by Soyba Rinpoche. In that book, he describes the practice of Poa. Poa is a Buddhist meditation. It's applied at the moment of death, and what it is, it's used to transfer one's consciousness through the top of the head and merge it with the wisdom mind of the Buddha. Signs of a successful Poa practice include the itch on the top of the head, headaches, emergence of a clear fluid from the top of the head, swelling or softening of the tissues of the fontanelle, as well as a small opening on the top of the head into which a grass blade tip is inserted. Could the clear fluid actually be cerebrospinal fluid that is emerging from the top of the head? Interestingly, we tried to set out to try to collect some of this fluid, but were unable to do so. We're still in the process of actually trying to get some of this fluid to analyze. I show you here 2 quotes from Dr. Randolph Stone. He's the founder of Polarity Therapy, which is a holistic healthcare system. He says the soul swims in the CSF. The cerebrospinal fluid seems to act as a storage field and a conveyor for ultrasonic and light energies. Dr. Sutherland, who's the founder of cranial osteopathy, said this that Dr. Still said about CSF. Dr. Still envisioned the cerebrospinal fluid as an intermediary in the movement of divine intelligence, a channeling of creation into embryologic segments and irrigating them with life, giving form and function and order and intelligence to our existence. As a fluid, therefore, the CSF can be a sensitive receiver, transmitter of energy, vibrations, and information. Just as flower remedies demonstrate that water is able to absorb, store, and transmit the energy of plants, or as Dr. Masuro Emoto showed that water could store the energy of words, so also the cerebrospinal fluid may absorb, store, and transmit the essence of source, and allow us to experience and be aware or conscious of our beingness.
Thank you, Jesus.
As I mentioned, the CSF covers the entire outer surface of the brain. Let's take a look at where the CSF is stored inside the brain.
Stay out of my brain.
It is stored in the ventricles of the brain. These are fluid-filled spaces within the brain. This is a diagram of somebody who's looking out towards you, and this is the diagram of somebody who's looking to the left.
Out of my brain.
If we let anatomy, and a lot of what I'm going to go over is anatomy, try to inform us, since this is how we were actually created, help us inform us, why are we actually created the way that we are? Maybe it gives us some information in the fluid. The first question I ask is, why are the ventricles of the brain formed the way they are? Why does the lateral ventricle here, or here, have to make contact with the frontal lobe, the parietal
All the
lobe,
fuck shit I
the
know.
occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe?
Conservative or even vaguely right-wing, you're not allowed to work in this industry. You are not allowed to have these opinions, and you're not allowed to work in this industry at all. So conservative psychiatrists or psychologists, they just won't be a thing. They won't exist. Or if they do, it'll be because they kept their mouth shut.
Shut up. This light here is a grow light. I've had it for many years, and it has on it amethyst that I super glued to the outside. It's very nice. It's very nice. It makes a nice soothing light, as you can see here. And I've got it in the...
Did you tell him how soothing it was? It's so soothing.
Show them how you really feel. You want me to show you how I really feel? It's like that. That's how it is. And it makes you feel good. Because
You
it
like
feels
that?
nice.
You like to feel good?
And it's like Mount
I like
Meru
feeling
over
good.
there. Mount Meru.
I like the sand between my
Just-
toes.
Holding it down
I like the sunshine in my hair.
in the corner of my room. Really bad headaches today. Something in the atmosphere. A really bad headache. If I don't take Tylenol, my head just throbs. Thump, thump, thump. With all that cerebrospinal fluid from the previous
Get
video.
over it.
We got the chair out.
Don't be such a wuss.
She makes my room
Suck it up.
empty.
Man up.
Now able to clear. My dad's zoning his ass out on Facebook, looking at the posts. I don't do that anymore. I don't do Facebook anymore. I don't do it. I'm not having it. It's just the way it is. Just the way it is. You saw I got the chair out, got it out. It's good to have little things that you can do to mitigate the madness. Everybody seems to be pissed off, yelling, angry. The amount of shows that I can listen to in the background are diminishing. What the fuck was that? Phone is glitching, because it's spying on me. That's all I got. Have a nice day. Blessings to all those that are blessed or need blessings or have a communication line to the one true God. the one true living God that exists and shows itself to you because of love.